I've been rereading The Art of the Rifle. It's a book by Jeff Cooper. I believe it was published around 1997, and it's got me thinking that the American rifleman is a dying art. Uh, and I have to use that because it's somewhere between an art and a science. Jeff Cooper was one of our premier firearms experts and had a lot of practical knowledge, and he had his parameters on what he thought a rifle should be, which resulted in his scout rifle concept. And several companies over the years have tried to make the perfect rifle based on the scout rifle concept, and some have done better than others. All of them I found to be at worst serviceable to outstanding rifles. Just depends on how deep your pocketbook is. But whether or not you agree with Colonel Cooper's ideas on what a rifle should be, you can at least get your wheels turning in your brain and try to figure out what rifle could cover most, if not all, of your tasks that you had for one to do. All of my rifles, be it the 7.62 by 39 AK-47, the Winchester 30-30, the Ruger 30-06, any one of a myriad of other rimfire or centerfire cartridges I currently own or have owned over the years, have largely been set up to cover and to do most of the jobs I would ask a rifle to do. These may be bolt action, center fire, rim fire, semi-automatic, pump guns, single shots. Their primary use for me is sporting use, hunting, or on occasion target shooting. Although I will admit I have never owned a dedicated target rifle. I have had some that would shoot very accurately, and accurate enough I would take them and put them up in a competition. Some rifles, like the AK-47, largely would be used as a defensive rifle. Usually, when we look at the rifle, ammunition, and the shooter is the weak link. And that's because a lot of what's been learned has been forgotten, and what should have been taught and passed down hasn't. In my case, I was pretty fortunate. I had people that were willing to teach me from a young age and on up how to use a rifle, a pistol, and a shotgun. A rifle tends to be defined as a shoulder-fired firearm that has a series of lands and grooves in it that puts a spin on a bullet, much like a football being thrown in a spiral. Carries much better in the wind. It tends to fly straighter, and it tends to fly more accurately, as opposed to a smoothbore shotgun. And a shotgun is a great tool for what you use a shotgun for. But the weak link I see is the shooter. And it's because things haven't been taught, things haven't been passed down, and people are trying to substitute technology for marksmanship and for gun handling skills. The safety rules apply with a rifle that apply with any firearm. We always treat them as if they're loaded. In my opinion, they should be loaded. That's when they're useful. When it's not loaded, congratulations, you have a very beautiful and expensive club. So the rifle should be loaded. Rule 2 in safety, you always keep it pointed in a safe direction. This is paramount with a rifle because of the long distances. 1,000 yards or better that some cartridges can carry and still retain a lethal amount of energy. Rule 3, finger off the trigger till you're ready to fire. Particularly if you're shooting a target rifle that has a light trigger. Some of my sporting rifles have a trigger that's light enough it makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Finger off the trigger till your sights are on target, then we move it to the trigger. And another rule that becomes more important with safety with a rifle is identify your target and what's beyond it. If we're deer hunting and I shoot a deer, most likely that bullet's going to go in the deer, it's going to expand, and it's going to exit the deer. And it's still going to retain enough energy on that pass-through that it's lethal. A missed shot could carry fatal consequences for an unintended target. So we always want to be cognizant of our safety. The rifle allows us to place our shots with precision at a great distance. Depending on where you hunt, what your target is, a great distance and a precise shot may have several different meanings. Where I'm at in North Florida, brush tends to be thick. But if I'm hunting up in Georgia, or someplace I may shoot across a pasture or a field, well, now a 300 to 500 yard shot becomes reality. And if you get out west in some of the really open places, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, you want something that's suited for that. The biggest thing is optics. A lot of people are dependent on a scope. Yes, as I've advanced in age, my eyes are not what they used to be. I use a scope to help me see better. But you have a lot of people that come up and they're completely dependent on a scope or a red dot and have no clue how to shoot the iron sights. They have no idea how to get themselves into a stable shooting position. And I'd like to see a resurgence of people who are riflemen in their purest form and not guys that are strictly focusing on the close quarter combat aspect with a short barreled carbine, basically. Yes, the AR-15 is a great little rifle. A lot of people use them for close quarters. They're great for defending the home. I'm not knocking them. I'm not saying you shouldn't own one. But they don't meet all of my needs. There are cases where the 30-06 doesn't meet any of my needs, or meet all of them. That's where I make another selection. Is there a perfect rifle? I don't think so. But there are a lot of good choices that can meet a lot of your needs. And most likely, what it comes down to, more than anything else, is the skill of the man behind the rifle, as opposed to any magic caliber or scope or bullet. And when you have the rifle, the ammunition, and the shooter all working together as their one entity, then you have something you can work with. Later on,